Hi, this is David Samuyiwa, and yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day in Gothenburg, and I'm on the football pitch where I spend most of my time these days training young football players to help them achieve their dreams of becoming successful professionals. So for me, it's about, it's all about doing things right from the beginning. And I feel that I work a lot with young athletes or young football players, but I say young athletes in terms of the athletic capacity. And I feel that's missing a lot in these young guys that I train. They lack the athletic capacity. They might have the technical skills, but even there also there's a lot of stuff that can be done much better. So for me as a sports performance coach, I mean, I'm really looking to work with many multiple aspects of the football player's game. So I look at it like the mental training, massive part. I mean, without the mental side of it, forget it. The strength and conditioning, massive part. Without that, forget it. The nutrition, massive part. Without that, forget it. The rest and recovery, massive part. Without that, forget it. And then, of course, the fifth element, the football technique. Without that, forget it. So to make the complete football player, the modern day football player, you need all those 5 components working together at a very high level. I'll go through those 5 components again. You need the nutrition, the right sources of nutrition. You need the mental training, the right mindset. You need the strength and conditioning. And the strength and conditioning is a wide area, not just about building strength and conditioning. It's about building speed, it's about building stamina, it's about building core stability, it's about building flexibility, it's about building, having the right running techniques, it's about building the right biomechanics, it's about building the right explosivity. So there's many facets to the strength and conditioning part of it. Same way there's many facets to the nutrition, same way there's many facets to the mental training. And then of course there's many facets to the footballing technique. First touch, control, pass and move, dribbling, shooting, heading, there's awareness. There's multiple components to every part of it. And the rest and recovery, again, is massive. Again, I mean, you're talking about eating right, that's part of the recovery. But you're also talking about the massage, the ice bath, the stretching, the rest days. I mean, this is a massive part of the complete modern day football player, and that all those aspects are missing. You might get a little bit of each one, but you're not getting the right amount of each one. So when I work with these young guys, I mean, they're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I mean, these are crucial years for me. From the time you reach into puberty, let's say from your early teenager, let's say from 12, 13, and you start to come into puberty, that's when we've got to start taking things a bit more seriously. Because obviously these young guys and young girls, they have dreams. They want to become professionals. They want to maximize their goals. They want to get to the top. They want to play, in Champions League. They want to go to the World Cup. So if we're not looking after these young guys in those ages, between say 12, 13 up to 19, those for me 12, 13 up to 19, those years are crucial years to develop the football player. Crucial years. I mean, we don't want to be waiting to 19 and then we start with strength and conditioning, or start with mental training. I mean, it's like we've lost many years. That's why for me, it's like we're not seeing these talents really maximize their full potential, because along the way they get injured. You get too many injuries when you're young, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your mindset. It's going to affect your motivation. So I'm saying that you've got to put around these young players the right team, so to speak. And for me, it's like, that's why I feel I come in. I mean, I've been working with sports performance coaching for over 30 years. So it's not just with football, but let me go through the sports. I've worked with football players, I've worked with basketball players, I've worked with ice hockey players, I've worked with track and field athletes, I've worked with rowers, I've worked with wrestlers, MMA, boxing, I've worked with obviously golf players, I've worked with tennis players, table tennis players, I've worked with multiple sports. So I know what I'm talking about when I say about these components are missing. Not just in football, probably in other sports also, but because I work a lot with football these days, I'm like seeing this big gap, this massive gap that's missing in the development of the complete football player. And it needs to be done from an early age so that they can, when they get older, then you just fine tune it. You just fine tune the technique, the tactics, and that kind of they say, those small little areas that need to be smoothed out. You fine tune it as they get older. We're having to start with these things. I mean, I see players 16, 17, 18 in academies that can't play on their so-called weaker foot. Why is it your weaker foot when you're 18, 19? It shouldn't be your weaker foot, because you should have been training that weaker foot in your earlier years. You see my point? And you're working your strength and conditioning. Some guys can't do push-ups. I mean, let alone going in there and doing deadlifts. And again, sometimes when I see guys in the gym and they're doing deadlift, it's like, why are you doing deadlift like that? It's not just about the technique of doing the deadlift. It's also about when you do the deadlift and how you do the deadlift and how many repetitions you're doing, how many sets you're doing, and in what context. Is it fast, is it slow? I mean, it's not just to do deadlift because it's a good exercise. There's a reason why you do it and how you do it and the purpose of it. So, and maybe some people shouldn't even be doing it because their core stability is all off and their balance is all off. So, you know, it's about really honing in and looking at the athlete as an individual, because once you improve the individual, then that individual will be a better player in the team. If you've got a bunch of weak individuals making a team, whenever you get to, I always say like this, the team that has the better strength and conditioning, both mentally and physically, will be the team that will win the game. Because if the tactics are the same, if the techniques are the same, in terms of the person's capacity to play football, what's going to be the edge is, one, the nutrition, how they've planned the nutrition so they have the energy during the game, and two, their strength and conditioning, mind and body in the game. So when it gets tough, you're going to find out, when the going gets tough, you're going to find out who quits. And that's again the condition of the mind and body, the strength of the mind and body to overcome these issues. And that we build, you have to build it over a period of time. So that's why for me, when I work with, as a sports performance coach, I really look at all these facets I talked about. The nutrition, the mental training, the rest and recovery, the strength and conditioning, and in this case, the football technique. Those 5 elements must be very, very on a high level. There's no point having 3 of them, no point having 4 of them. You're going to have all 5 on a high level, so then you form a fist, then you're powerful, then you can strike very hard. Is my point. So for me, it's about, guys, really start to work on these areas, and if you need help, then, you know, just give me a call. You'll see my number, my email will come up after this segment here, and just think about it. I mean, if you're really serious about your football, you're really serious about you want to get somewhere, and for most cases, obviously, for most people, when I ask them, they want to play football outside of Sweden. You want to play football outside of Sweden in the tough leagues, Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, La Liga. You know, you need to be on a much higher level than what you are right now in every aspect. So think about where you are right now and think about how you can improve. It's all about self-development. It's all about self-development. And when you get self-development, you get self-confidence. The two of them go hand in hand, you know? So don't try to do it by yourself. That's another thing that I see a lot of guys trying to do. Oh yeah, I'm going to go to the gym by myself. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You've got to have an expert with you. Or I hear some people say, oh yeah, but my father, he knows how to train. Yeah, but it's not his job. It's not his job. His job is maybe to work in a bank, or he works in, you know, as an accountant, or as a lawyer, or as a police officer, or, you know, as a fireman or something like that. That's his job. His job is not to be a sport performance coach. You understand what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like you've got to get the right people behind you to support you who are experts in the area. And for me personally, like I said, I've worked in this industry, worked as a sports performance coach for over 30 years in multiple sports, in multiple countries. I've had Olympic athletes, I've had young guys just coming up. So my wealth of experience backed up by my academic knowledge. You know, having a master's degree, you know, and having multiple diplomas and certificates within the sports performance area, you know, I don't think, and being a former international athlete myself, that combination, that trilogy of experience, practical, actually having done it myself, so done it in practice, trained my ass off in practice, being in an environment where I'm in the same environment, training with Olympic and World Championship gold medal winning athletes on a daily basis, in that atmosphere, in that climate of intensity, where your mind has to be sharp, and obviously, like I said, having an academic background. And having the experience, over 30 years, having an academic background, having a master's degree and multiple certificates and diplomas within sports performance, and obviously being a former international athlete myself, I know what you need to do to get to the top. You understand what I'm saying? I've been there myself, and I've trained people to get there, and you know, the ride is not easy. You know, I remember the days when I was training, it's like, you know, you're training in that environment, it's like, I should run 100 meters, and we had a phrase, it was called, if you snooze, you lose. because the 100 meters is so short. So in training, you're training in that competitive environment. It's very competitive. You've got people that are, you miss one step, that's it. You've lost the race. You're talking about small margins of the margins of mistakes can be very small. The margin of error is very small. You're talking about tenths and hundredths of a seconds between being a winner and coming last. So in that intensity, in that environment, you build a lot of mental strength, because obviously it's very competitive, very competitive. When it comes to football now, you know, it's the same thing there. It's very competitive. Football is the biggest sport in the world. It's the biggest sport in the world. So of course, it's very competitive because many people play football. Many people have dreams of becoming stars and becoming, you know, the next Zlatan, the next Messi, the next Ronaldo. But you see what these guys have to do to get there, then you find out if you're ready. So many people say they want to get there, but to do the work to get there is another thing. So think about what your goals are. If you're really serious about your training, if you're really serious about becoming a professional football player, contact me and I'll help you get there.